Welcome back to the Charismatic Voice. Today I'm going to be reacting to the song that you requested the most during our Dimash chat last week. This will be Dimash Kudaibergen performing Samaltau at the Tokyo Jazz Festival. This live stream took place just a few weeks ago, but I've never heard or seen Samaltau performed before. So I decided it was a good idea to do a little bit of research. The song is told from the point of view of a young Kazakh man who was drafted by the Russian Tsar during World War I and forced to leave his homeland. Now, this particular version didn't have subtitles available, so I'm going to be putting the lyrics in the About section of the video so you can check them out later. For now, let's get to it. Ooh. Guys, I know we haven't heard him sing yet, but I really love instruments and music in general. I'm not just a voice person, okay? I love orchestras, and I've done lots of classes on like orchestration, this kind of thing as well. It's so exciting what they're doing with just the instruments right now. Like, I don't know exactly what the two-stringed instrument is. It seems similar to an arhu to me, but I think it's probably one of the native instruments from Kazakhstan. And then you also had a rain stick, which I thought was a really cool instrument to add to that, and some sort of native flute as well. And it's fascinating to hear how they're playing them. They're not using any sort of a traditional or what I would call like Western music theory to create a melody. Instead, they're just creating this really cool ambiance. And it's such a great setup. Okay, let's hear him sing. Shimmering. And there's your rain stick. Oh, that's such a cool intro.
Солдат болып айнам көрген күнім ай есіме қайта түсе берді кір жуып күндік кезген айнам қайран елім
This is so awesome to hear. It has I hear definitely like a lot of longing, and it definitely has an element of sadness to it, but some bravery as well. And I love hearing the different sort of ornamentations that Dimash is using. There's, it's definitely got, I would say, like some more ethnic, probably traditional ornamentation from Kazakhstan, which I don't know as much about. And I just think it's so cool. It has where he will shake his voice very quickly between a couple of different notes. It's not a trill, it's usually wider than a trill and usually in sort of different keys from what a trill would be. I think it's just really fascinating to hear. Let's go back just a little bit. Listen to that. Did you hear the little one in there? Oh. Wow. That's really cool. This is such a beautiful song. I don't know exactly what he's saying. I know the general gist of it, but it really has this feeling of these really this loud calling out for a homeland, and then this sort of resignation, grief, or longing to see it. I'm so impressed by how accurate his ornamentations are. I'm using ornamentation because that's like the overall term I would call it within classical music, sort of like what kind of trill or addition to what might just be like seen as one note in the music. What is he doing on top of that? And these are these like ethnic ornamentations essentially, and it's so cool because they're not just shakes. They are very fast, specific notes. I find it fascinating because sometimes he's also going over his break a little bit to do that. Really super awesome. And then in addition, he seems so so centered with it. It doesn't feel like it takes any sort of extra oomph in his vocal production. It seems fairly natural to him. So I wonder if he sang this when he was much, much younger. I wouldn't be surprised. And then you hear how he's able to just really control emotion through it, ebbs and flows of it, and then bring it back at the end in a much softer tone. It's just fascinating, guys. Okay, sorry, we're gonna go back and catch that all again. These runs are just not the normal choices you would hear in Western music. I love it. It's using different scales, different modes to choose the notes from. and I'm such a sucker for it. I'm also really fascinated by where he's placing his voice. Dimash is very good about changing his vocal placement because he works in a ton of different styles. But it's interesting. I think when he goes to more traditional singing, he's going forward towards his nose, which isn't a bad thing. You just hear a lot more, a little more, not a lot, a little more nasality in it, which is correct for the style. I think it's really cool to hear that. And then here, right before he went to this section, he had this area that he pulled back and would have been feeling like it would have gone straight out of the top of his head. That was a much more tender and also a quieter tone. So it had a softness to it. I want to go back and catch that whole section, okay? Oh, it was great. You hear that softness? And then listen to where the placement changes when he does the runs in a bit. Sounds really open, like it's all in this area. And then it goes here. It's cool. It's very purposeful. Oh, I love that note.
Samaltau, kayran yeli, şalkar köle.
Oh, wow.
Ne bolar, saldat bolup aynan, körgen könüm ay.
Wow, that was transcendent. Yes, we're in a studio. Dimash is sitting on a piano bench with no shoes on. But together, music and Dimash, they transported us to another place, another time. It wasn't just beautiful. Dimash could have sung each of those notes of the run perfectly well, like just, one note at a time, perfect execution. But instead he chose to cry off of them in a way that just reaches straight to our hearts. It was gorgeous and wonderful, and I loved it. Thank you so much for this recommendation. I hope you'll give me some more in chat today and also in the comments below. And guys, if you haven't ever, you should come and join me in the chats. They're on Mondays and Fridays at 8 a.m. Arizona time. And if you don't want to miss that, make sure you hit subscribe and turn on the bell for notifications. I hope to see you soon.